great. But let's get formal approval here first. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Councilmembers Edwards,
Aye.
Esposito,
Yes.
Jazinski,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Joyce.
Yes.
That's legal to do with
Okay. All right, back to the top. General fund claims. Do we have a motion that town board approve claims number 49 and claims number 74 in the amount of $32,812.61?
I have Bob and Lee. Councilmembers Edwards,
No.
Councilmembers Esposito,
Yes.
Jazinski,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Joyce.
Yes. Water fund claims, the town approved claim number 18 to claim number 29, the amount of $10,170.51.
So moved.
Second.
Councilmembers Edwards,
Aye.
Esposito,
Yes.
Jazinski,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Joyce.
Yes. I think we'll miss a motion for a resolution. It was one to transfer 23,000 as a capital appreciation fund to the water fund.
Okay. Did you send me that?
It was on, yeah, it was on the drafts.
Okay. Do you want to read the resolution and I'll just insert it?
Yeah, I don't think I,
Have one of your drafts from earlier, is that it?
yes,
Okay.
then we'll pass it back. All right,
What
so,
do you want me to make it the last, after the reappointments?
that'd be great. That's easiest for you.
Okay.
Right. Water fund transfers. Do we have a motion that the town board approve the transfers of $23,675.71 to close out the capital fund for extension 2 and deposit the $23,675.71 into the water fund balance account of 009,009.12.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Joe, you're not gonna find it on there. It's, my mistake, I guess I, probably deleted it off the last draft, that's my mistake.
Which is fine, you can just get it.
Tom,
Councilmember Edwards,
Aye.
Esposito,
Yes.
Jazinski,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Joyce.
Yes.
Oh, I do want to say that.
All right. I lost my agenda. Thanks. No, sorry. All right, so we are done with the resolution, thanks, Pete. At this point, before we open up for public comments, we do have a report that I think is probably on everybody's mind, the Gorman report. So back in January, actually probably last year, Gorman did some work for us. There was for some reason, the bill did not get paid till the end of the year. It was an emergency meeting to fund the check and payment. When I became aware of it on January 3rd, I called Gorman, asked what was going on, trying to understand why some work that was completed in July we waited till December 28th to pay the bill. So I asked them to put a hold on it. They graciously said yes. Well, I made some inquiries. I made some basic inquiries. I talked to their controller down there, talked to their salesperson, I talked to their local representative in Amsterdam. And after a couple hours of talking with them, it was, I felt it was sufficient enough that I would ask the board to look into the matter. So I asked for a resolution, I think, Councilman Edwards, Councilman Esposito, and Councilman Drzezinski to look into the report to find out what went wrong, why it waited 6 or 7 months for a bill to be paid. So I think we've handed out copies on that for review and discussion. So I don't know if you want me to go through it, if you guys want to take it over.
I think, Mike, that the,
For full disclosure, before you move forward, I just would like for the record for it to be noted that this specific report, I contributed nothing to these findings here. I'd be more comfortable reporting my own findings publicly. So this doesn't represent any of my findings or any of my opinions, for the record.
And the reason it doesn't is because you refuse to work with us in any way.
Sir, are you putting a motive to?
I'm not putting a motive on you, I'm making
Because
the
the
fact
reason why-
in the same way.
I think I can tell you the reason why it doesn't, if you'd like.
Can I finish?
Sure, go ahead. You're just speculating and making
I'm not
accusations.
speculating, when you went storming out of the meeting that we had with Gorman, that you came late to and missed in its entirety, after we notified you, my sense was that you were not very interested in this investigation. And so, I'm sorry, but that's the reason that you weren't part of this and why you're in.
That's your opinion.
well, you were invited, Todd, to the second meeting. I sent you an email on the first meeting, and you sent one back saying you would attend. I told you the time frame in which it was going to start, and you showed up 45 minutes to an hour late. Maybe you're a late sleeper, I don't know.
Can I just
But
ask-
anyway, the meeting was over.
Can I just ask a simple math question?
Excuse me, I'm speaking.
Okay.
When Councilman Drzezinski took the notes, he read them back to you, verbatim of what she said when we did the interview.
I'm not sure what
You
relevance
didn't like anything that was said. You left the room, stormed out of the room. It's in the report. Councilman Drzezinski sent you an email and asked you to attend the second meeting, and you did not want to attend.
Correct.
Thank
So,
you.
fair enough. Todd,
Can I ask a simple
your
math question?
response is,
How many of us would have been there if I had attended?
There have been 3.
Okay. And what does that mean?
It would have been a meeting of a committee, which would have required public notice.
Thank you. So
Why did you attend it then anyway?
I, out of courtesy, stopped to inform you of that when it was clear that your intent had nothing to do with objectivity. I left.
That's your opinion, too, isn't it?
That's my opinion, So getting back to where you started with your accusations about my reasons for not working with you, it's because I don't trust you. That's the reason, nothing else. I'll provide my own information on this incident.
I don't think that's called for, Todd, to say that you don't trust another councilman.
He put
all right,
some
so
motive.
let's move on.
just-
Todd, did you have anything in writing, or was it just a verbal?
No, I'll deliver it verbally on record here tonight.
Well, it's all on record, but.
Well, I think the report is self-explanatory. Councilman Drzezinski and myself met. We asked the questions. Councilman Drzezinski took the notes, and I think it's an accurate description of what transpired. And if there's any questions on it, I think you already read it, and if there's any questions, I'm more than happy to answer.
Well, pretty brief.
Would you like me to read the whole?
In my opinion, that we're gonna try to clear up as we go forward into the year.
I do have one question.
All right.
Councilman Edwards, did you know about this bill prior to December?
I found out about it at the same time you did, when I was
You had no
called,
knowledge that there was an outstanding bill from July?
and Bob, and Doug, and I believe that you made some assertion in here that there was some process
It was just a question.
wasn't followed. So I have a question about that.
Were you phone calls or email?
Understanding. I think I was both.
You don't show the email, would you?
I don't remember. But
I'm pretty sure it's on.
either way, I showed up and we had a forum. And I believe that every board member was spoken to. And the only one who wasn't present was Bob, correct? And I believe there's a voicemail message that you left that says whatever. You are okay with whatever, you can't make it something along the lines, am I not? If I'm mischaracterizing it, please correct me. So we had a meeting, and we had a bill to pay. So I guess your assertion that it was an illegal meeting, and we had a quorum of the board, how we got here, I'm not sure. Is that a differentiation? I mean, I understand the notification process, but when you have a quorum of the board that follows a public notice procedure, does the meeting itself, by definition, not legal?
I don't know the answer to that off the top of my head. I know what the requirements are, which appear to have been at least attempted in this case, and there was a quorum. Whether that satisfies the definition of a meeting, or, and what that, the effect of that is on the actions taken at that meeting, without knowing the actual specifics of exactly how it went down, I can't answer that sitting here right now.
It just doesn't,
Yeah.
I can understand the argument about the notice, I get that, but at the end of the day, we were all spoken to. I think we actually were spoken to by Mel or whoever, and we had a meeting. And
Nobody called me
we-
except Bob.
You
I
showed
had
up.
no knowledge of the meeting.
I don't know. I, like you, showed up, listened to what the highway superintendent had to say, and digested the whole thing, and took action. I don't, and I'll be happy to give you my opinions about the research that I did, the people that I spoke to, which I'm going to do tonight. You know, I entered into this, which what I thought was the process that Mike was asking us for, was to make sure that we weren't in jeopardy from a credit rating perspective. From a process perspective, was there a breakdown? And objectively, what could we do to improve any process along the highway, work procedurally? That's how I kind of went into it. I did speak extensively with the folks from Norman. And I've put a lot of thought into what could we do in the future to avoid being in this situation. And I do have some suggestions, but I guess I don't understand the intent that I'm getting from you to create some scenario that something was done inappropriately. I guess I'm not following what benefit that had. You seem, and I've gotten the impression from the day that we sat briefly when I did show up, and your statements that you've made on record, that you feel like there was some impropriety here, and that's all you're about, and that's what this focus of this is. That's not what I took from the direction that I got from Mike. We were supposed to objectively look at everything, try to find ways to improve the process so we don't end up in the same situation in the future, and determine was there any real harm to the town. And in my exhaustive work on this, there was no harm to the town. There was no harm to our relationship with Norman. And are there ways in which we can make some improvements? Yes, but any other inferences or, there's a lot of statements in here that are kind of alleging almost that, there was some impropriety. I'm not sure I would have handled it the same way, if I was handling it, but it doesn't make it wrong, I guess. And the fact of the matter is, the real breakdown in the process, you know, came in the oversight of the one estimate. So, once you have that, the town has a bill to pay. Gorman's been a great contractor for us. I don't see the benefit.
Can you restart the last thought?
The real breakdown? The real breakdown, as I see it, was the original oversight. You know, once there was a work done that we owed monies for that weren't, as, you know, included in the resolution that the town board had passed, that, you know, the proverbial horse was already out of the barn. You know, I would not have been in favor of going to Gorman after the fact, after they did work in good faith based upon their interaction with us as a town, to tell them, oh, but we're not gonna pay that bill. So, I mean, once we had a bill to pay, figuring out how we're gonna pay it is just figuring out how we're gonna pay it. And whether I would have handled it differently, you would have handled it differently, or you liked the way it was handled, or you didn't like it, or if I liked the way it was handled, didn't like it was handled, we had a bill to pay. I don't see how we were in a position to stiff Gorman, or why as a town we would even want to consider.
I don't think that it was
Stiff
ever
Gorman.
implied that there was going to be even an intent, a thought to stiff Gorman.
It says it in here.
What does it say? So you're in business, right? You got a partner? Mr. Edwards?
Hold on one sec, you asked me a question, I just want to find, where I'm at. We could have, or we're in a position to not pay the bill. Princetown was in a position to deny payment of the invoice in question. Without the proper estimates, no formal acceptance of the work was executed, blah, 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 blah. So, I mean, that is in the conclusions drawn from the investigation. And I'm just speaking for myself. I mean, I think it was a human error situation. Again, I think there's some process improvement that we
I
can
agree
do
with you
there.
100%. You know, it was, obviously there was a breakdown. Human errors usually the cause.
And I'm all about, I think I shared with you an email, process improvement. I have something to challenge.
And
I go.
Let's see, again, that was the initial start of the investigation.
That's what I took.
Right. But just thinking out loud, you're in partnership with a business, right? You got a partner? You're an owner. So you go through the year, you have your budget, you're spending your money, everything's fine, everything's great. You come into the end of the year, your fourth quarter, you're gonna do your financial planning, your payroll planning, your estimates, what we're gonna spend our money on, et cetera, based on a budget and how much you spent for the year. You approve it, say, great, thanks partner, have yourselves a great holiday, we'll see you when we get back. And your partner wakes up the day after Christmas and goes, got to pay 5% of the bill. That wouldn't upset you?
It would have said. I mean, doing business.
So wait a second, so it's okay that I took the initiative to update a law that hasn't been written since 1970. That bothers you, but we overspend our budget, you build another budget on 2012 on bad data, that's okay?
I guess, first of all, I don't have a problem with the updating of a town law that could use some potential updating. I don't know if it needs updating or not. I've not put enough time into it yet, because I've just been made aware of it. I had an issue with the process by which, because it wasn't objective. It wasn't
So even the
transparency
process,
and
the process
communication.
you
I have no
waited
idea what
for
you told
6
Bill
months.
Lutz, to be very honest with you.
For
For all I
6
know, you
months,
told him this is
Bill
what
sat
I'm
there
gonna
and
do.
nothing, that's okay, that's okay. Our money being spent by, you know, that's okay. You weren't told about that, that's okay.
I don't have any issue with how it was handled.
Let me ask you something, Brad. You think it's all right that at budget time, that we were told we were $33,000?
It didn't have any impact.
It didn't have any impact.
It didn't have any impact.
That we were told we were
It
$60+
didn't make any
thousand
difference.
under budget.
Didn't
When the
make
fact
any difference.
remains that people knew that it was.
So what would you have done differently?
What would I have done differently?
Have you had the
I would
benefit of
I
that
would have
knowledge?
reported it to the town board as soon
No,
as
no,
I
no,
knew
not that. Had you the knowledge of the money what would you have done differently in the budget process?
Approving the next year's budget? Are you talking, that's got nothing to do with the town board not being told that there was a
So you just said that
$33,445.
you needed
I didn't
to
say
test
that.
the budget or needed it.
No, you're trying to twist words around. You think that that's okay. You're gonna sit there and tell me that that's perfectly okay for the town board not to know
I'm
this.
saying you didn't have to do
When you
that.
yourself said that we're responsible, every board member is responsible. But you think that's okay.
I think that it was an unfortunate oversight.
It's an
And break that into
unfortunate
narrative
oversight when
between-
people knew about it and they didn't report it. That's okay. You don't have any idea, I don't think we would.
So, we agree that there was a process already. I only got some questions. And I think we can build processes around to protect it again. Parts of it.
It's a difference between trying to have a constructive process and outlook on what our jobs here are and a destructive process. I mean, I'm not about, I don't know if you all know this, but Melanie Webley's not an officer anymore. She's a resident. I don't know why you all seem hell-bent on continuing your character assassination of the board ladies. It's just, move on. It's time for you all to start bringing something of substance of your own to this town government.
I mean, like an updated
Okay.
ethics law.
I don't know. If I had the benefit
An
of
updated
hearing
procurement
you,
law?
if I had the benefit of hearing your justification for it, which I still don't have, other than the fact that it's outdated, for all I know, it could be completely sufficient for our purposes. You've not said to me, Todd, here's why I think.
But I did
I've read it,
call you, Todd.
and
I
this,
did call you,
here's some
Todd.
points
So I did call you, Todd.
that I think would need to be updated.
All right, we're losing control.
And I still don't have that.
Let's go. We're done. Any final thoughts? You said you had some comments, or you have anything written? I'm sure whatever you share, listen and share.
I'm sorry, what's that?
Is that, this is, audit letter,
Do you have any final thoughts?
I think I shared all my final thoughts. I'm sorry if,